read your diary every line. I wanna drink your words like wine. I read your diary. Hello everybody, welcome back to Tea Time with Lily. I have just decided to come on here and give my book recommendations. I haven't filmed in such a huge time and I just feel like the need to kind of just get back into it. I haven't been feeling really authentic within myself, so today I've literally had the biggest crash out. I really took time into redoing my curly hair, which I haven't done in such a long time. And to me, I used to be extremely insecure about my hair because, like, I'm telling you, I would not put no product in it and my hair would be like this. But like, I went to my sister, she's like, you kind of look like Maui.
I'm about to beat this bitch up.
Oh god, not even Moana. Like, I was like, I'm not gonna lie, I was humbled a bit. But I'm gonna bring y'all my favorite summertime recommendations that I love to read, because I think reading really is what connects us into the world and allows us to experience different people's perspectives. And I think that's like a lot of an issue that people have, is like not seeing other people's perspectives. So these are my all-time favorite books. I will say, disclaimer here, I'm not the best at giving book recommendations. I am a huge spoiler. I can't help it, but I am working on it. So I'm gonna bring out my books. Later through the week, I will be doing like, what is it called? Like a restyling like my bookshelf. I don't know what you would call it. Like, I want to redo it. I need to figure out some ideas in some ways to kind of just fix it in general. Like, it's because some of my books are bigger than them. My book of the month should be coming in soon, so I'm excited to show y'all that later. It probably won't be in this video, but later on. But with that being said, I'm about to be right back and I'm gonna bring y'all some of my all-time summer recs. So I changed into a different outfit, something that gives more summertime. I do think that the blue looks a little bit better with my skin tone than the other one. But these are some books that I will say wouldn't necessarily go into the like category of what I consider summertime. So I'm just gonna give y'all like a little description on what I think summer is. I think it's kind of just very fun, very high schooly, very emotional feelings getting brought up. I feel like summer is like meant for love. I'm sorry, I got a little distracted. No, I think summer is about like kind of just finding your best, I'm like best authentic self. And these are some of my favorite books. I will say that some of these books are part of the series, as I said before. So, you know, not all of them are set in the same timeline. With the book that I'm going to recommend, it's Archer's Voice. So I last recommended y'all this last video, and my recommendation for this, that it was amazing. And I just reread it and I remembered why I love it so much. So this is surrounded around Archer and Bree. Archer's Voice is kind of the way that I can best explain it is finding yourself in a place that you never thought you would be. So this stars Bree. So Bree lives in New York at the moment, and she decides after something traumatic happens in her life that she's gonna move to this small little town, like a small little country town, cute and like folly, not folly, but like there's a beach there. It's kind of like new to her surroundings. And there she ends up meeting Archer, who is kind of like this standoffish guy. Like, he's not talking to her, and she kind of like doesn't know why. And she's like, well, this guy is like really handsome, but like he's ignoring me. The hell? How you like? She's like, I'm a baddie, guys. Like, she's this blonde girl. She's like, I'm a baddie, and he's like ignoring me. But I think the storyline and what it just shows two traumatic people bonding together. And for me, that always is such an amazing story. I absolutely am obsessed with leaving where you are to figure out who you are in a different place and what fits with you better, because I think when we're in this place of just sticking into one story, and this is where I grew up, this is who I have to be. And it's so the small town is named Pelion. I don't know, it's in Maine. And the back is kind of like, it sounds scary, but I think this book really gives, like, I don't know, like, the way that I see this is that, so she goes to this new town and she falls in love, and I don't know, I've grown up in a small town and I've kind of hated it. Like, I still live in a small town, and just seeing a new perspective through my eyes is her loving this sense of community that is such close by, as well as discovering so many hidden things about the town, and so much, like, them excluding out Archer, and she brought him, like, back into figuring out who he is. And I'm just gonna let y'all know, this is that the reason that it's called Archer's Voice, or my idea why it's called Archer's Voice, is because he is mute. That would give you, like, a big hint on, like, why it's Archer's voice. But it's about him finding himself through all these years of being pushed out, exiled, and he's getting brought back in. And it's just, like, an epic love story to me, and I genuinely just love it so much, because every time I'm just like, wow, like, this feels like summer. This, like, feels like riding your bike and, you know, like, talking to somebody new. And I think that's, like, what a lot of people need from summer. And personally, I'm not a going out girl, and y'all will never see me out, but it was just great. And seeing her find her community in such a different town, so different from where she grew up, is just amazing. And her finding herself after just all the traumatic things in her life. I'm not going to spoil that because it is a big part of the book. Okay, so this to me, I'm so sorry. Am I being a little too loud? Let's reframe. This to me is one of the best summertime books. But the thing about these books, or about this specific book, is that it is part of a series, and I would recommend to everybody to read it because I loved it so much. Oh, before I get onto that, is that I love to put, like, songs to a certain book, and this one's Mess It Up. Oh my god. So this is from the Dreamland Billionaire series, which I love, but in all honesty, this was my all-time favorite. So I'm gonna give you a little rundown of what the Dreamland Billionaire series is that, so there's these three brothers that are forced to complete something to get their inheritance. So all of them have a different, like, regulation to figure out. So, like, one of them's to marry somebody, one of them's to finish the project, and the last and final brother is to spend one last summer there and to try to sell this house. But little does he know, like, the ex-love of his life was there. And it's such summer love, and kind of giving, have you, like, the way that I see this is high school romance. Like, what are they called? High school sweethearts. You know, like, when they split up and then they find their way back to each other. But it's just the love that it feels. And especially one of the things I am gonna say is that I love that Alana has a daughter, because it just brings out so much sides of somebody's personality in general. And I absolutely just have to say, this is what summer feels like. This is like summer beach house, the summer I turned pretty. And for me, that just gave everything, like, everything. I loved it. But okay, so next recommendation I'm gonna have is the Addicted series. This book in general is not summertime. I try to be as 100% honest as I can be. It's not. But the thing about this series that I love so much is that there's so many sisters in this. It's the core 6, so there's 3 guys, 3 girls that are all sisters, and I really love it. But my book recommendation for y'all is gonna be Hot House Flower. I'm gonna try to put up a picture right here, but I'm not the best at editing. So Hot House Flower is one of the Calloway sisters, which is Daisy, and she gives the beauty of what sunshine looks like. And to me, that's always what I try to look for in books. And she really just gives what strength is supposed to look like. And I feel like summer, in all honesty, I love like fall and stuff, but summer for me always has been such this sad time because I feel like I never leave the house. I'm such a little homebody, but I really feel like when we look at these books and we see people who are just like, have you ever heard that thing like that? Oh, not that thing. It's in the documentary where Taylor Swift is like, we have mirror balls in the room and they're just there to shine, and in a way, but when nobody's looking at them, they're still up there. Like, you know what I mean? And for me, Daisy Calloway is that. I would recommend reading the whole series. I know a lot of people are like, this series is so long. It's so worth it. And I'm so sorry how I'm giving y'all such series book recommendation. The only standalone that I have right here is Archer's Voice and the next book recommendation. So guys, don't hate on me. Don't hate on me. Let's stop and let's think about, let's not hate, okay? Because this is mine and it's a little, I'm gonna say this is a little taboo. Birthday Girl from Penelope Douglas. It is taboo. It gives, I don't want to say break up with your boyfriend. Yeah, because I'm bored. Shit. So Pike is like her boyfriend's dad. And then there's Jordan, and she's kind of like, she has nowhere else to go. And so she ends up staying at her boyfriend's house and kind of just like going through like, okay, like I have a shitty boyfriend, but I have nowhere else to go. And Pike is kind of just like giving her some guidance, and you know, like she has somewhere to stay, and like she's helping like with the house cleaning, but little do they know, they get freaky. It's so good because I think it just shows like you're never too bound to options. I wouldn't say do this in real life. This is a really bad idea, but in this scenario, it's just, wait, Jordan's not the name. That's the guy's name. What the hell is her name? That is not her name. No, maybe it is. Let me see, guys. I'm so sorry. I haven't read this, but it was so, the book was so good. No, maybe he is. Maybe that is her name. And like, I'm not gonna lie, her boyfriend's a dick. Oh my. It's okay. Yeah, he's not really that it. I have to say that Pike, in all honesty, just gives like hot zaddy. Oh, I'm not freaky like that. So Punk 57 is an obvious favorite of mine. If y'all know, I'm a huge fan of the Devil's Night series. But this has to explore Will Grayson's cousin, Misha, and Ren. So Ren is this girl who in real life is very popular. She has like this, I'm gonna be a bitch to you attitude. And I wouldn't say this is necessarily summer, but this gives to me like, have y'all seen the movie Nerve? That's what to me gives like a little bit of like summer adrenaline. And so I love Devil's Nights because of how like anxietying it is. I don't know. But so Misha is like, he's bad boy, but like he feels like the only way that they are able to connect to each other is through that. So the way that the book is that it's set up by they're pen paling somebody. So they thought that, I think it was either Misha was considered to be a girl's name or Ren was. I'm not 100% sure which one it was. But so for years they end up finding out that like one of them is a boy and a girl, and they start building this relationship. And like Ren in the inside to who she shows to him and gives like a nerdy person, but in real life Ren is like this like baddie of a person, and he's like, well, I really just don't know you, like. And so it's kind of like when do I get to be my authentic self behind this screen? Or I don't know. And it's such an interesting story, because when I read Devil's Night, it's kind of also a bit weird the way that you have to explain it. Like, her name, and so the whole time they're pen paling, they're not allowed to look each other up, no matter how much. So like this whole time, for months on end, since 5th grade, they're like pen paling each other, and they like, but you know, the way that you sound on like through pen paling is so much different, because you're allowed to be your authentic self. But what happens when the person that you knew online knows you, gets to see you in real life? And I would say Ren could be considered a mean girl, but throughout the time, like, oh, and he ends up being a new kid at the school, and that's how like he figures out who she is. It's a good book. I'd recommend reading this before Devil Knight series. Y'all know me. I absolutely love these books. These are the end of my recommendations. I don't know if I necessarily gave y'all good recommendations, because I'm trying to be less spoiler, but this is what I'm gonna say about all of them. I'm not gonna spoil it. This is what gives summer love, but also like a bullying like romance, which is so weird, because like I'll read the rules that they have. They only have 3 rules: no social media, no phone numbers, and no pictures. But imagine you fall in love with somebody like online, and then like you end up finding them in real life, and they're nothing like you knew, but you know who they are internally. I don't know. Arthur's voice to me gives the song wait, it's because I have to think about this one a little bit. It's for sure Taylor Swift's song. I don't know. I'll think of one. Birthday Girl is Guys My Age don't know how to treat. The Addicted to You series, or the Core 6 series. Ooh. Oh, fresh out the slammer, I know who my first call will be to. Mess It Up by Gracie Abrams. This is the end of my recommendation video. Please do read, because I love y'all guys, and more book recommendations coming through. Love y'all.